So, what does my first girlfriend, my sister's death in, 1962, my band called Freewheeling Freddie and the Hubcaps, I have pictures, my first album called Bojo All Over the Piano, I have pictures. What do they all have in common with Elvis Presley? Coming up next on Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. Well, it's Elvis Day. There's my mug from Graceland. Pretty cool place. I've been an Elvis fan for a long time, and as far as I can remember, almost, I've liked Elvis. I have two aunts, Judy and Linda. And one is my mom's sister, one is my dad's sister, and both of them are less than 10 years older than I am. And so I kind of grew up with them and the music they listened to. So at a very early age, I knew who Elvis was. Well, many years ago, during this time of year, my sister Barbara got very sick. And they didn't know what to do with her in Montana, where I lived at the time. And so our family went to Colorado. And we stayed with my grandparents. My grandfather was a pastor in a little town called Meade, Colorado. And we went and we lived with them while my parents commuted into Denver at Denver's Children's Hospital, where my sister was. And she got very, very sick. And during that time, we were there for a while, so I actually attended school there for a few months. Had my first girlfriend at the school. Kissed her. Totally in love with her, and I can't remember her name to this day, but I remember the experience. I remember, I remember Elvis. I remember my Aunt Linda and all of her 45s, the records, the small ones, 45 RPMs. I remember them all over, laying all over the floor as she had sorted them and she was playing them on her portable phonograph, record player. Elvis, dancing, enjoying the music. I remember her friends coming over and listening to Elvis. It was a big deal, and I remember that Elvis was my new favorite singer when I was there. Well, it was also during that trip that my sister Barbara died. That was a very difficult thing. It was difficult to go through. It was difficult for my family, obviously. Christmas was very solemn that year. And in just the course of a few months, my sister died. I had my first girlfriend, and I fell in love with Elvis Presley. So those three things, two things, not so much the girlfriend, but those two things have been, kind of hooked together in my mind for a long time. And for a long time, the holiday season, and it's a whole lot better now, but the holiday season, I remember those times when my sister died. And then I remember, Elvis. And for many years, whenever I heard Elvis, I remembered my sister's death and that just kind of grim time when I first heard that music. Well, fast forward a few years, 1971. My band called Freewheeling Freddie and the Hubcaps. Here's a picture. Yep, that's me playing the guitar. Quite a band, and we did Elvis songs. It was a great, great time, and man, I enjoyed that band. I enjoyed doing the old Elvis songs, and so Elvis kind of had new life in my head because we were playing Elvis in the band. But that wasn't anything. 1976, I believe, I used to own a restaurant called Bojo's. And we were in the restaurant recording my first album called Bojo All Over the Piano. Because I used to play live in the restaurant. And one of the ladies that sang on the album, who's no longer with us these days, but she was a phenomenal singer, did a lot of the old songs, and she was singing When the Saints Go Marching In on the album. And I was playing honky tonk piano in the background, and we just had a great time with her and all the instruments. And late one night, as we were recording in the restaurant, the phone rang, and I went in to answer it. And the voice on the other end said, "Is so and so there?" And I said, "Yeah, she is." And he said, "Oh, good. I've been trying to find her." I said, "Just a minute, I'll get her." So she went, talked on the phone for a while, and came back. She said, "That was Elvis." I knew that she was friends with Elvis, but I talked to Elvis. And afterwards I thought, if I would have known that was Elvis, I would have stayed on the phone a little longer. But everybody says that, they had an Elvis sighting. I didn't have a sighting, but I talked to him. So that was kind of cool. So these days, Elvis has kind of a different, bittersweet kind of a feeling with me. And honestly, I still remember my sister's death many times when I hear certain Elvis songs. Now, why am I talking about Elvis, and why am I going to go back that far to make a point? Because this is a difficult time of the year for a lot of people. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. In less than a month, we have Christmas, and then New Year's, and the holiday season is very difficult for some people who have bad memories during this time of year. It's not quite as difficult during the rest of the year, but when something tragic happens in the holidays, you remember that associated with the holidays. Just kind of the way our brain works, and it gets kind of difficult. And this time of the year, the holidays trigger a lot of difficult memories for a lot of people. Well, I enjoy the holidays these days a lot. I enjoy the time with my family. I enjoy the time with my friends. I love the time under the bridge with our homeless friends. And there are just 2 days that we don't serve during the year, and that's Thanksgiving and Christmas. Those are the only 2 days that churches and service groups actually remember their homeless people and serve a lot of food during that time to the homeless, and they kind of forget about them the rest of the year, but it's kind of oversaturated with food this time of the year, so we take those 2 days off. We'll have actually Thanksgiving today under the bridge, and we'll have Christmas dinner the day before Christmas. So, but the holiday season may be difficult for you too, and how do you get through that? That's the big question a lot of people want to know. How do I get through the holiday season without it wiping me out? Well, I'd like to share just a couple ideas. And the first thing that I want to tell you is you won't get over it completely. There are some memories that will always hurt. Losing a loved one, a tragedy that happened to you, whatever it might be. There are things that are monumental in our lives that are kind of bookmarks in our life that we keep coming back to. And when you associate a feeling with an event or a time of the year or an Elvis record, it's difficult to disassociate from it. And I think a lot of you do that with music anyway. You hear a specific song and you remember what you were doing when you first heard that song. And I still do that. And I do that from songs that I heard in the 50s. I remember what I was doing when I heard the song. So there will always be an association, and you probably won't change the association, but you can lessen the sting. I think that traditions are a wonderful thing. And some people say, well, you shouldn't have traditions. The church shouldn't have traditions. Some people think, you shouldn't even be celebrating Christmas or any of the holidays. And everybody has their viewpoints. But, I love making new traditions. My dad is in a nursing home now, so we'll probably bring him home for a few hours, I'm hoping. And I think he'll enjoy it, although he probably won't know a whole lot of what's going on. But we'll have that time with him. But Christmas is very different now. And so we have new memories. And my mom and I were just talking about what we want to do this Christmas. And I think we're going to come up with some new memories, some new things that we can celebrate, some ways that we get through the season and, still feel good about it. So I think making new traditions, sometimes making new friends, sometimes making new memories, things that you can also associate with this time of year going forward. But I will always remember those times with my Aunt Linda, those times with my Aunt Judy, and playing those records, listening to their music, and realizing that was such a rich time in my life. That was the beginning of my love for rock and roll and metal and everything that would come next. But it was such a wonderful memory for me. And I go back to that one. And I realize that there are other memories that are associated, but I don't have to remember all of them. And when I remember my sister, I'm looking forward to seeing her one day. My other sister, as you know, committed suicide last year. I have two sisters that are in heaven, and I have two brothers who are still alive. But I'm excited that this holiday season, I'm going to have some new traditions. Even though some of the bittersweet memories are there, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to make some new memories, and I hope you do too. And if this holiday season kind of wipes you out a little bit, and you're feeling a little blue and you're not looking forward to going through it, instead of dreading it, be proactive. Do something that will carry you through it and get you to the other side, because that's what will make the difference for you. Well, I hope that helps. I'm going to have a special holiday message tomorrow, Thanksgiving, and I have something that I'm going to send you just from my heart. And I'll offer it tomorrow on Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. God bless you. Have a great day. And thank you very much.